2-3 years ago, petrol stations really wasn't the thing. 2-3 years ago, everybody was into electric cars and no one wanted to invest in a petrol station. The reason they didn't want to invest into a petrol station because they're worried about environmental contamination. We're not going to use petrol cars anymore. So all of that started to die out. And as a result of that, petrol stations became one of those things that people didn't want. However, 2 years from that time now, today in 2025, petrol stations are back in demand. A lot of demand for petrol stations right now because people have realized that electric cars isn't going to be the end all and be all of everything. You're going to need trucks on the road. You still going to need freight. Electric cars can become an environmental hazard or a burden in the future. Resale of electric cars has not been as strong as petrol cars. So people are slowly actually going back into petrol stations. One of the key things about petrol stations do have very long leases, 10, 20, 30-year leases. You have a tenant that is there for the long term who are invested in there, and it is also in key areas where you get a lot of foot traffic. Petrol stations themselves are not dependent of your operator. However, if you're in key locations where people just have to stop before they actually move on to their holidays or they're driving, or it's a truckie stop, they're going to come regardless of if the operator is terrible in terms of their customer service, if they don't have the right in terms of food serving or in terms of what they provide in the shops. They're still going to stop because it is location based and it's a traffic and they have to be there. So it's very, very much in demand. So you've got to look at the traffic, at the demand, the competition of other routes, and if there's going to be a bypass as well. The other benefit of a petrol station is that potentially this land can be for redevelopment. A lot of people invest in petrol stations for future development, not immediately. 20 years from now, this area could be all full of residential properties and they could go high rises. Most petrol stations, they have land that allows you to go medium to high density, which means 6, 8, 10 stories. And that is why the land of petrol stations is so valuable, and that drives the return down along with that security. So it's almost like land banking with some money coming in until the day you're ready to develop. One of the big things you've got to look at is environmental contamination. Now, the bank is going to make you spend $20,000 on just due diligence and report if you don't know what you're looking for. So to save that money, you really want an expert who's actually done it. Have invested in petrol stations for our clients. We have done petrol station build out. We have helped them assess petrol stations. So again, if you're interested in investing in petrol stations, do leave us a note below, a comment below, or just simply email myself, helen@unicorn.com.au, and I can help you with the due diligence to purchase a petrol station.